Hi everyone, this is Shubha, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. And I am here to deliver a lecture on web technology for the topic XML. XML means Extensible Markup Language. So we'll see what is XML. So here XML means Extensible Markup Language. It is a set of rules for defining semantic tags that break a document into parts and identify different parts of the document. We can also say the XML is a meta markup language. And we'll see some introduction about XML. So XML is a specified subset of HTML, standard generalized markup language. HTML stands for standard generalized markup language, and features like extensibility, structure, and validation. So these are the features XML have. And using XML, it is possible to create our own tags according to the application. So in case of HTML, we don't have this feature. That is, we cannot create our own tags. What are the defined tags of there? We can use those only. But in case of XML, we can create our own tags according to our application. So based on application, we can create our own tags. And for example, if it is a web page for book publication, then so what are the details we want? We can use in our tag in the XML document. And it describes the document structure and meaning. And we'll see some advantages of XML. So XML is a domain-specific markup language and the data integration from disparate sources. So from the different sources, we can integrate the data very easily using XML. And self-describing data is one of the advantages of XML. And local computation and manipulation, multiple views of data can be possible in XML. And first we see how we can create an XML file. So XML document begins with an XML declaration that specifies the version of XML, where the first line is the processing instructions that begins with open tag, question mark, and ends with question mark and close tag. So this is how we declare the XML document. So when we are going to create an XML file, then we have to use this open tag with the question mark, and that XML file that should be closed with question mark and close tag. So this is how we declare while creating an XML file. And we also have to specify the version which we are going to use for XML. And this is the sample XML code. And for example, we'll be having book.xml. That is, the XML document name is book. So while we starting the XML code, it should start with this less than question mark XML version, and with the version which XML version we are going to use, that should be specified. That is 1.0. And here we have a book tag, books, book, and title, author. So these are the tags which we are going to use for our own purpose. So the book, title, author. So instead of this, we can also give some other tags which we like, or which can be vary based on our application. So this is possible in the XML. That means we can give our own tags in the XML document. So when the processing instructions, that is the compiler sees this line, then it understands we are going to process the XML tags. Okay, and version also should be specified in the declaration. And this is this is also for example of the XML. And here they have included XML document within the HTML code. So how we'll see here, here we are starting the HTML code script, so that we have started with the HTML tag and head tag, title, head, and body is XML ID. So here in the body, we are including XML document with this HTML code. That is XML ID equal to book. So here source equal to books.xml. So here we have specified the XML name, that is XML document name is books.xml, that we are included in this HTML code with the source. So we have to specify source equal to books.xml, and table and table row and table data. So table data means that is the column name. So title, author name will be in the column. So here we have used for two rows, okay, and because we have two table data. So that's all. So we have created title and author. So we have created table using the HTML, and we have included what are the data we can get by using the XML code. And data island. So here the data island is a method. It's to hold XML code within a HTML page. So it is also called as data source object. It exposes record set and important properties and methods. So when we are using XML, we have some important methods or functions such as move first, move last, and add new. So while we are designing a web page, these are the functions can be used when we are selecting XML script. And it increases performance at client side by distributing the data. So that means we can distribute the load along with the side of client, and we can decrease the load in the server side. That's why they have told instead of accessing the web server, we can perform at the client side itself. And complete data set sent to client. Here display the data set, and after that navigate. Navigate is the sense we can load or we can send the data, and manipulating, that is managing the data. Load, transform, delete, modify, those things can be done on a data. And within the data, we can also bind HTML controls with that, so that finally records are sent back for the database update. And here we can see the XML data island. Here we are going to combine two tables that using XML in the HTML. So here the two tables are book user, and another one is another table is book user. So here we have the table data, view, book title, author, price, ISBN, publisher, and publisher, addition, editor. So these are the details that can be combined into tables. That is combined into tables, for this we have to include the XML document within the HTML file, so that it is called XML data island. And we'll see how well-formed XML document. So how we can say this XML document is well-formed. So we'll see. So well-formed XML document follows some basic rules. So which are the semantic or which are the tags which follows the some rules, some basic rules? That is, we can say well-formed XML document. So here allowing an XML parser to read and expose XML data without an external description. So start tag and end tag must watch. And the XML tags are case sensitive. And here, while we are starting an XML document, it should start and end tags should be there. And the XML tags are case sensitive. That means here you can see the variation difference. That is city, and city. So here we have all the letters in the city. First city is the two table, that is, this slide we have seen. So the well formed, here you can see the empty element. So this is the three basic rules, and we have one more rule is empty elements. So the tag that ends with the slash close tag shows that the element has no content. That means, for example, you can see here, so we have model, in that we don't have any content, and at the same time here also we have no content because the model and the model has been closed, model tag has been closed. So in between the model tag we don't have any content, so this element is called empty element. Okay, so we can specify in a both way, that is we can allow, give model, if it is an empty element then we can give alone the model and close tag, and again we can write we can close the tag model. Okay, so these both are the same way. And here we have some reserved characters. Those are these are the symbols. Those are reserved characters. Okay, and named entity. So these are the entity names. That means what functions they are going to use. And here several characters are part of the syntactic structure of XML, and it will not be interpreted if placed within an XML data source. So while the XML parser sees these characters, it will not be interpreted. So it has some specific information. And each XML document must have a unique root element, and no attribute can appear more than once in a same tag. So for example, here we have table border, table. So within the table document, within the table tag, we have table elements, border and width. So border, the value of the border and width can be specified. So, but the border and the width or the elements content, it won't be repeated once again. So that's why no attribute can appear more than once in a same tag, in a table tag. And string attribute values, it cannot contain references to external resources. So also values should be quoted. And here we have Unicare character set. In this, the XML provides full support for the 2-byte Unicode character set. So it supports almost every character available in multiple languages. So this XML can also support for the Unicode character set, that is 2-byte character set it's supporting, and supports almost every character that is available in multiple languages. So while we are using the multiple languages within the XML script, it is very supported by the XML code. And to read a script, three things are required. So while reading the script, we need three things that is required. So one is character set of the script, and font for the character set, and OS and application software that understand the character set. So here we have three things. The one is character set for the script, font for the character set, and OS and the application software that understand the character set. So these are the three main things that is required while you are reading or writing a script. We'll see one by one. The first one is element. So here an element is comprised of markup tags and the elements content. So and also both start and end tags. So when the element is present in an XML, it should have markup tags and the elements content. So what the element we are going to specify, it should have some content, and both start and end tags. So in this example, you can see the main and book, to, from, sub, main, sub. So these are the tags we have specified. So within the mail tag, we'll be having all these things. So the mail is the element that holds the mail content. Okay. So everything that is present within a mail tag is called mail. It's called element content. And sub content, sub elements also can be present within the element content. and we'll see about XML component. So we can say it is composed of markup and content. So the markup is a tag. Okay, it's a tag or some specific text or some specific language. We can say in general. It is composed of markup and content. So here we can see the four kinds of markup that occur in an XML document. So we'll see those are elements, entities, comments, and processing instruction of DTD. So DTD means document type declaration. So here we'll see one by one. The first one is entities. So entity declaration allowed associating name with some other fragment of the document. So here we'll be having three kinds of entities. Those are internal, external, and parameter. And we'll see about what is entity. So the type of entities are internal entity, external entity, and the parameter entity. So we'll see one by one. Here in the first thing we are using internal entity. So while you using ampersand WT anywhere in the document, it inserts the web technology in the place. So that means when you are using the keyword entity and ampersand WT with the double quotes web technology means, then it will take where and all the document that ampersand WT is present, it will take or it will display in the web page as web technology. So that is called internal entity. So within the entity tag itself, we have given the value of the entity. And the next one is external entity. It allows the XML document to refer to an external file. It contains a text or binary data. So that means here they have started the entity. So entity with the keyword of entity and EE1 system. So for the system, we have given CS or details. So here .xml. So the XML, that is the external file, the separate XML file can be included with this XML document. It's called external entity as we are including an external file as an entity. And we can also include some of the files like zip file, image files, like we can include it. So that where and all it finds EE2. If you want to present, for example, if you are creating a college website, so in the website, if you want to place the logo of the college means, then what you have to do. So when you can specify entity name as a EE2 with the, you have to include the logo GIF file or logo image file with this. So where and all in the document EE2 as present, then it will replace with the logo of the college. So that's what the usage of external entity. And the next we have is parameter entity. So it is defined by placing percentage in front of its name in the declaration. Okay, so that is called parameter entity. So where in the, if you want to get a parameter or variable, if you want to print a variable, print a parameters, any values means, then it can be defined or declared by using this percentage symbol. So in front of the variable, declaration, this percentage can be used. And we have comments. So how we can specify the comments in the XML document? So here it contains any data except the string underscore. So the underscore will not be acceptable or will not have any information this will not be considered as a string in a XML document. So the string underscore will not acceptable for taking as a comment. So when you are commenting something, that is if you want to display some page, then you can use this open tab, exclamatory mark with place your comment. That is what are the, so this is my college, this is our college, and so on. So what are the departments of business? So these details you can give in the comment. Comment. Okay. So after that we have to close the tab. And the next one is processing instruction. Here, so the next is processing instructions. So here we'll be having, it defines the markup that provides information to be used by the software applications by the XML processor. So that means, so when it has the markup language, so what are the information that is provided from the markup language? It will be taken to be used for getting the information about the software applications by the XML processor. Whenever it sees the markup in the XML document, the XML processor will process the instruction, what information it's telling about the application. So that can be processed by XML processor. So for that we can use XML parser. This XML parser is used to translate the markup language, that is semantic or syntactic markup, into a machine understandable thing, so that what are the information it's giving, we are giving in a XML document using the markup, that is the using the tags, what are the information we are giving about an application. That is the main thing here. So that can be processed by XML processor. So here we'll be having XML style sheet hreffer equal to mystyle.xsl. Type is text XSL. So here we are including external style, that is called external style, that is called XSL. Okay. So while we are going to apply a style on an XML document, then we have to save the style sheet with the .xsl. So mystyle.xsl is the link or is the file of style sheet which is included with the XML document. For that we have some declaration, less than $XML style sheet hreffer equal to mystyle.xsl. So here mystyle.xsl is the style sheet from the external. So this is stored in the with .xsl extension. So for linking that into a XML document, we have to specify hreffer. So hreffer is the keyword here, and we have to specify the type also in the declaration of XML code. So what is the type is, to which we are going to apply the styles. That means for text or for numeric or for string, what we are going to apply a style. So that is the thing. So here we are going to apply styles for text data, so that we have specified text XSL. Okay. So that's all about the processing instruction. So using the processing XML processor, the instruction can be processed for the web page design. Thank you.